about today on By the River. Unfortunately, yes, guys, we do have to play for an international break. We're going to talk about some of the actions that's going down. I know my U.S. men's national team fans are probably not entirely too happy right now, but we'll talk about that. We'll look what happened down in Cincinnati last Saturday as the Union got a big 3 points against FC Cincinnati. And, of course, we'll look ahead to this upcoming Saturday afternoon as we will be traveling up to Montreal, and we'll be facing off against Club De Foot Montreal. Don't you guys go anywhere because you do not want to miss this episode of DOOP by the River. And let's get this started, guys. Dale! And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move forward into this episode of DOOP by the River, please do us a solid if you're watching this live on Ed Barcelona Philly's YouTube channel, and we're also back on Philly Sports Network. Make sure you guys hit the like on both of these lives, and make sure you guys are subscribed to both of those channels. And, of course, all the episodes of DOOP by the River can be found on PSN Radio. And you can find that wherever you stream podcasts. All of your favorite Philly Sports Network podcasts are on there, from Flipping the Birds, you name it, it's all on there as well. So definitely check that out. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to get to today, and of course, it's a duo here today. As my man Justin, PAX 10 Jump Squad President Freiberg, is here with me today. Justin, what's happening, buddy?
You know, it's another solid week to talk some more Union soccer, and I'm feeling pretty good about things, and there's plenty to talk about with that Cincinnati game. Them kids be balling out is all I gotta say.
What's that Green Day song? Wake me up when September ends. Here we are, man, and this team looks much better. It's crazy. It's crazy after what happens after Champions League. That CCL curse, man. That is for real, ladies and gentlemen. That is definitely for real. AK Game is letting us know. Go USA, of course. Obviously, let's go Team USA. So now we got AK Gaming back for more. We appreciate that. We missed you, and I hope you had a great soccer season as well, AK Gaming. So welcome back, my friend. But Justin, give us that update. What's going on right now with the U.S. men's national team?
After a really horrible start, being down 1-0 on a very rough goal, the U.S. has finally decided to wake up. Greg Berhalter realized he'd be out of a job soon because there is precedent for firing a coach after a loss at home to Costa Rica. I'm looking at you, Jurgen. They're up 2-1 in the 75th minute, and if they can get these 3 points, it'd be huge. But it's been a bit of a rough stretch, in terms of fans' nerves. But hey, they're at least Brendan's balling out. That's all that matters.
Yeah, man. First off, with Berhalter, explain to me, because obviously I follow the U.S. national team as diligently as you guys. What is the frustration with Greg Berhalter per se?
I think the biggest issue with Berhalter is his perceived notion that you have to rotate your roster fully, and that if he's also rotating for the incorrect things against Panama, you really didn't have many players that could break anyone down. Giassi Zardes is not the striker that you want to try to break down a low block. Sebastian Lletget shows why there's times where you don't play Sebastian Lletget, and Panama was definitely one of them. I think it's just the roster choices, the tactical switches late. I think sometimes it's, every coach has those players they love, and Berhalter, Lletget's definitely high on that list. But it's also showing that if you actually play the kids, and you got talented kids, you might actually.
This is all sounding really familiar, Justin.
Ariel was supposed to start before he got hurt in warm-ups. Timothy Weah showing why Timothy Weah probably should have started.
Timothy Weah's back?
Oh yeah, no, he's
I love
been back he's been balling out this cycle. but it looks. I don't know why I did not realize Gianluca Busio was on the roster because he's getting putting his jersey on. So it's
He's getting some minutes for Venezia as well, from what I'm hearing.
But yeah, no, it's honestly after a rough start, it's kind of leveled off. Although I will say that the prices I've heard for these tickets are like massively expensive. Like I talked to a friend of mine who's at the Canada game right now, and he paid like maybe $45 American for that ticket, and I'm like, yeah, try like doubling that, and that's what you're paying. Thanks, U.S. Soccer.
Crazy, man. Wait, so what are they? The ticket prices? Are they more like the NFL or like the NHL?
Like the NFL, tip prices are, and especially like,
yikes.
You know how you can flex prices during like quote unquote rivalry games. The U.S. Mexico in I think in Cincinnati, the prices are like it's just insane. It's just unreal how expensive they get, and it's mainly U.S. soccer. With the making those prices so crazy high.
Usually when I watch Colombia play here, and obviously there's not as big as a Colombian fan base to the American fan base in America, but usually I get pretty lucky. It's like $30-$40. I mean, I have to sit in the second level of Red Bull Arena, but I mean, I'll deal with that. So that's definitely crazy to hear that they're pricing like that. But hey, we know soccer in America, man, and a sport where around the world it's an economical sport. Here in America, we're just trying to squeeze every penny that we can get out of it. So there you go, man. And back to the point of Berhalter, why not start Pepe? I don't watch too much U.S. men's national team, but I've been seeing what's been going on with Pepe, and I just want to understand, why aren't you guys trying to make him the future at that position?
I mean, he did start 2 of the 3 games, but I think the game that he probably could have played all 3. But in reality, if you weren't going to start him, I think Matthew Hoppe would have been a good option up top. So someone to inject a little bit of pace. I love Giassi, but he's not giving you speed. Like you weren't doing hold up play. You couldn't break down a low block. So then what is he good for? At that point, I don't know. It was just like just tired of it.
Yeah, oh my god, pretty much. What's been going on with Brendan, man?
He nearly chipped one to the back post. That would have been filthy. He's doing what he's doing. He's making those good runs. He's connecting excelled 1-2. Honestly, he's doing what we think of him and why he made a move and why he's being targeted by teams like AC Milan. Like he's too damn good for Austria, and I think even they know it.
Man, I just want to see him in Bundesliga already. Come on, baby. Come on over. Well, listen, I'll say this. Guys, enjoy this because while you guys are watching this product, I'm watching Colombia can't even score against myself playing goalkeeper. Okay, so
listen, if they as we told Matt, if they play up at RBA,
yes,
I'll take the train from Hamilton up and do a little tailgating with Matt.
Hell yeah, I'm all in on that. As Tommy's checking in now. Vamos Ecuador. Tommy, it's gonna be you versus me tomorrow, my man. You versus me. Can't wait. 5:00. It's the app, dude. The appetizer before Thursday night football with our birds playing. So I can't wait for tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun day. Buenas noches to you, my friend. We got PJ checking in as well. PJ wanted to let us know, as a Milan fan, I would love to see him in Milan. We kind of talked about this off air between the 3 of us. Obviously Zach's not here tonight, but I'm more on the stance where I just don't believe Serie A values Americans the way they should, and like the way they do like in Bundesliga or the Premier League. And that's where I'm worried about. I don't want Brendan to go somewhere to just rot and sit on a bench. It just doesn't do anything for you. Now, here's the thing. Over at Juventus, now obviously Juventus they're having a bad year, and Weston's getting the minutes, but How does Milan feel about American players? How does
I
Roma, Inter, Napoli? How do they all feel about American
Well,
players? That's
Roma
what I would
was
want to know.
feeling good about
That's right.
American until
Chris Richards? No, who was it?
Brian
DC kid.
Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds. That's right.
But until Jose came in, and he's not exactly. Um, I don't know. I just think that Brendan to AC Milan, for all the crap I gave, if Ibrahimovic is still there, I actually think he's a solid player to learn from in terms of work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Because while he has a certain attitude, no one can question his relentless drive to be one of the best strikers in the world. And he's certainly done it everywhere he's went. He's won something, except for the United States, because you can't conquer here. Hey, I understand not everyone can play in this quote unquote retirement league, but you know what? I think with that team the way it is, they're built to challenge Inter for that title. I mean, they came close. I think it'll be interesting to see. I just think that in a team that seems in Italy where they kind of value youth, I think in a squad where he could absolutely push for minutes. I mean, I guarantee that. I don't think it'd be a bad situation.
Wait, I just thought about this. Justin, wasn't Gooch the last American to play for Milan?
What? You might be right.
Could it be two former Union players becoming part of AC Milan? Or do we have to be Milan fans now? No, I'm not going to be a Milan fan. Sorry, my Milanos. Napoli still has my heart over here, but we'll see. We'll definitely monitor that. It would listen. It'd be pretty cool seeing. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be pretty cool seeing Brennan in any of the big four leagues in Europe. But I just want him. I want him to thrive. I want him to thrive. But Justin, Saturday night lights. Our boys were in Cincinnati, and by the way, Justin, TQL Park or Stadium, it's really nice. From what
I've heard some really good things. That and the lower.com
Columbus
stadium that Columbus are playing at right now. I've heard some great things. I'd absolutely love to go to both. That's why I'm excited to do Allianz Field next week. There's a lot of nice stadiums in this league that I really want to go to.
We're gonna have to tap into the Philly Sports Network bank account there, so we can get some trips sponsored by PSN.
we can. I'm sure we can leverage the boss man for a little travel money.
Liam, we're only asking for GAM money. That's all.
maybe a little maybe gas money if it's a drivable thing.
There you go. Okay, gas prices are going up here, guys. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. But let's get to the match. So, look, I kind of said this last week in the preview. Just because Cincinnati's competing for the wooden spoon, you're still traveling on the road. This is the MLS. Nothing is ever given to you, but the Union still prevailed and walked away with 3 points. And to me, that's all you need. This is professional sports. It doesn't matter how you get it done. You got the job done. And you move on, and that's it. But in this game, man, I will say, obviously, we're going to talk about the inevitable of what everyone kind of wants to talk about. But this game, the Union were kind of trying to feel their feel the game out. Obviously, we'll talk about the new formation that they were running in, but it all started in the 48th minute. When Kasper Shabilko, what a rocket he put that he just blasted that bad boy into the net for the early 1-0 lead. And then in the second half, what an absolute beautiful pass by Nathan Harrell. Shouts our boy, the bro, with that beautiful assist to Paxton Aronson. Aronson hitting the ball perfectly, dude. Hitting it away from the actually it hit off the goalkeeper, I'm sorry, and it hit the post and it fell into the net. And the Union had the 2-0 lead. They did allow an 82nd minute goal, Justin, to our old friend Harris Medunian with a soft touch, a typical Harris goal. It was a nice soft touch, right side of the net. We didn't walk away with this shutout, but still, you get the 3 points. You walk out of there. It doesn't matter how you get it done. You got the job done. So first off, I want to start off, Justin, by asking you. Look, I think the main thing from in the beginning of the match, when we saw the lineups, the main thing that caught our eye was the formation. Jim put these guys out in a 3-5-2. He started Finley with Elliott and Glesnes, and then in the midfield, he went with Leon Flock, which I don't know why he's playing. I guess listen, he has the experience playing as a left back, but I think I like him better as a Shudler, but. Played him alongside McGlynn. Aronson was more as the 10, the attacking midfielder, with Bedoya lined alongside McGlynn, and Nathan Harrell as that right back with Shabilko and Santos. I was happy to see it, Justin. Honestly, it was cool to see something different. I think for us Union fans, we just want to see something different, something fresh, constantly rotation. So I liked it. Obviously, I felt like in the beginning they kind of weren't used to it a little bit, but they were kind of like trying to feel it out. What did you think, man, about the formation change?
The formation change was great. That wasn't my concern. I've said for this entire season that you have the ability to do a 3-5-2. The only problem is you really only have three starting center back, starting quality center backs.
I put some respect on Aurelian Cullen, Justin.
Listen, I love Aurelian, but at this point he's a translator. He's the dad. He's the sexy French dad. Like I don't. That's
the short shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's. But I think the concern I had, and I stressed this on the pod, was starting Sergio with all the minutes he had played. The concern always is for a speedster getting hurt. And what happens 17 minutes in? Gets hurt. And we were saying in our little group message, I said, "Oh no, I'm right." Like initially he was able to shake it off, and then it happened, and I was like I didn't want to be right. I did not want to be right. But it happened. And that's the one thing with Jim where I think Davo or Quinn should have started anyway. That was my really only complaint with the roster initially.
One day, like I just want to ask, and I'm probably gonna do it, but when it's said and done, and Jim's out of Philadelphia, when that day does happen, I want to ask him like what it is, like why doesn't he do it? Because to me, Justin, and we talked about it, I completely agreed with you. Like I just thought that it was too much. He was playing 90-minute games a couple of times in the past, like in this run rate that we're on right now, where we have been unbeaten in 5. Like he's played 90 in a couple of those matches. To me, it would have been brilliant to start Quinn. Look, for whatever reason, we're not playing Davo. Maybe he just does. He's not good enough. I don't know. In Jim's eyes, he's not good enough. I don't know. But why not start Quinn? Play him 60 minutes. Have Sergio come out in the 60th minute. Have him play 30 minutes. At least he's playing less time and he's still helping you, right? So I agree with you. Like I don't know why it was like we're not rotating enough, man. And it's definitely a head scratcher. But the width. I mean, with Kai Wagner being able to come back hopefully sooner rather than later. Hopefully,
should be next game. It was only
right. Just 2
yellow, so it was just a 1-game suspension.
So he should definitely be back. But Leon Flock, look, the dude was recognized as the one of the best in under 22 in the MLS. And on Saturday night, he covered so much ground. He again was one of the top milers. He's been, to me, one of the more underrated signings in the MLS. He does so much for this team. Jim loves his versatility, and he does that. He does that well. He can play the 6. He can play the Shudler. Jim, in certain instances, has asked him to play as a winger. He played as a winger in a 4-2-3-1. That was pretty funny. I think we did that against New England. He played as that wing back this past Saturday. Justin, the importance of a Leon Flock to this Philadelphia Union team.
I've said this basically the whole season. He's the most underrated signing, and I probably think the most important signing in this offseason. And remember, he was a late signing. And why do we need another defensive mid? Why do we need someone, and we figured, okay, and my thought was, think about it. He's only 20 years old. You have all these international breaks. You're going to have an increase in games. You're going to need him. And sure as hell, he has been starting pretty much almost every game. And he's a workhorse. He reminds me of Ali. He's just a absolute workhorse. Will dig in, has the speed to be able to put himself in the right positions, but also sometimes doesn't need to use that speed. Just is in the right positions. Has a great mind to be able to put that initial pass to get the counterattack going, and that's really what matters. The knock is, oh well, he's not as great in the offensive zone. Well, you don't need him to be. You have the creative midfielders to do that, and Leon allows the defense to actually focus on just clearing up the messes at the back and not having to do too much and being able to keep it simple, be able to help relieve pressure. And he did that on a number of occasions. And as we, the one thing that Cincinnati had was some speed on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And Leon, as that wing back, was able to track back and help Finlay out and, help everyone out and allow them to really play, well. And honestly, I think that's the biggest thing that you can ask for. And I think right now, I know it's not flashy with the stats, but outside of Andre, he's my team MVP right now.
Yeah, you're completely right. Like all the dirty work stuff that we don't usually talk about, like he does it all. And also adding that versatility for Jim, it's brilliant. To me, look, I was gonna say the one knock, of course, is going to be his. He's not very clinical, especially in the final third. I mean, even that goal, his first goal as a Union member. I mean, Evan Bush realistically should have stopped it. I mean, thank God he got it because Leon deserves a goal, right? But that's obviously a work in progress. He's still pretty young, like I said, under 22. So I think if is just focus on not on improving it. Just focus on improving that aspect of your game, and I would truly be happy to see that. PJ letting us know I was at the Union game, met Freeze's brother. That's pretty dope. We who did we meet, Justin, at the Atlanta game? George Campbell's brother.
George Campbell's brother. He was a guy. He was a nice guy.
All their brothers love to hang out and watch their brothers play. It's pretty cool. But yeah, dude, can we talk real quick about Matt Freeze? So here's what my think with Matt Freeze, right? I don't see Andre Blake leaving in the next couple of years. I honestly think he might be here for a while. Matt Freeze, to me, in my opinion, I believe he could start in this league. If a team is willing to dish out, wait, what was Romero's deal? Like 200K, a little less.
He was
a homegrown, right?
Yeah, so it was different because he wasn't on a deal.
Someone's willing to throw like 700, 800K for Matt Freeze. I might do it.
For a goalie, that's a bold assumption. The team's gonna fork out that kind of change.
What do you see, Matt Freeze?
I mean that's a tough thing because I think I want him to you want him to do well, you want him to play, but you have Andre, and I think I don't necessarily think we have to rush him because unless we forget that most goalies really don't become starters or really become into their own until at least their mid-20s. Goalie typically have a longer shelf life than most other positions.
Very true.
So I'm not necessarily as worried. Do I think he's going to stick around? That who knows? But again, that's the idea. You don't know. But hey, it's nice having that a very, very, very reliable option to have come in when Andre's not there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. PJ got kicked out of the Cincinnati section. Oh man, that's a rough one. Oh, well, I think he lives in the area, so pretty dope. We'll talk about the rest of the kids. I guess what was the biggest takeaway from the kids? They dazzled again, man. All of them, all five of them. We'll throw Matt in with that.
The fact that at one point Casper was the oldest player on the field. Like you looked at that, you looked across the roster, and your back line, you had in your center backs, you have essentially like three 25, 26-year-olds. You had a 20-year-old, two 20-year-olds, two 18-year-olds. Except like your average age was low 20s because of all the youth on the field. You had at one point 6 homegrowns,
pretty much.
And can I say that I think we can see a reason why Matt Real hasn't seen the field as much.
He saw some time.
He saw a little bit of time. I'm glad to see it. But Nate Harriel, my man, whew, he put in a damn good performance. And
the future.
And I wonder if maybe if that formation change, if he gets more time as a wingback. I mean, I think he could excel. He put in some dope crosses on a dime and the perfect cross for one, Paxton Aronson, who my man has some ups, because that was a solid header. And yes, while Teton got a foot on it, Paxton that was perfect form on the header. Put that right into the ground low, and all he could do was kick it aside and kicked it right into the side netting, and that was just a damn good header. And Paxton with the assist on the first goal. Quinn, creating so many chances at the end. Kid just did not lose steam. And you had Bueno come in. You had so many. Just all the kids were balling out. It was unreal, and it makes you look and go, okay, I think our future's pretty good.
You're not lying, dude. You're not lying. I mean, I don't know. I'll say this: a couple more years, or at least another year of Paxton getting a full year of starting. We'll see when that day happens, but he could be gone before Brendan left. Well, Brendan left when he was 19.
Yeah.
Paxton's 16 now, 17 now?
17.
His hype is real. Like, I was told like he could be better than Brendan, and he's pretty damn good. I mean, right now we got Daniel Gazdag and I mean Jim still likes playing Jameer at the 10 as well, but I need more Paxton. I need it. I just flat out need it. I love watching him play. Collier staying in Chicago, AK Gaming. To our point earlier, PJ wants to let us know that Philly to Cincy's 8 hours, and Philly to Columbus is about 6 if you're lucky.
Oh, that's not bad. I've driven down to Myrtle Beach, and that's like 9.5.
Pretty much. Freeze look good again. Hey, the Freeze train. I love me some Matt Freeze, dude. I love me some Matt Freeze. No playoffs for the Chicago Fire again. This just in. Hey, listen, you got a victory this year. You changed the logo. I think it's beautiful. And who we're about to talk with in a little bit will probably tell you that, yeah, he kind of is jealous a little bit about what has been going on in Chicago. It's definitely cool. It is definitely cool. PJ, we don't need a sexy French dad. We have Sebastien Letou. Hey man, we'll always welcome the French here, man.
There's gonna be multiple sexy French dads. You can never have enough.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Raynell? How you doing, man? Fire with the new logo, though. It is really nice, and from what I'm hearing from the Chicago people, they really are happy to see it. It's hopefully the MLS just needs to realize you don't need to fix what is not broken. I don't know if you saw today, Justin, but they're announcing, not announcing, but it seems as if Vegas will be the next expansion team. And already I saw someone quote tweet it. They're like, "Oh, I know the names: Las Vegas FC, Vegas United," and it's like the typical soccer.
Real Vegas.
Right. Just you don't have to be like the European clubs, like it. That
Vegas
not,
FC. The
pretty much,
listen,
man.
If you want the a solid name, I think the Las Vegas Aces.
The Las Vegas. See, that's the thing. you really just need to realize what it is like your city's about, right? Put the ingrain of the city into the name. That's a great one, right? Because obviously, listen, Vegas is it's no secret they are one of the biggest. Probably the biggest gambling city in the world. So being able to that is something that they definitely need to do. But Justin, I don't know if you saw the Raiders tickets. They're absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So if we're able to have MLS in Vegas and being able to check that out, I'm in. I'm flat out in, man. Duke by the River, Vegas days.
Dupe, dupe by the Caesar's Palace, dupe by the Sands Casino. Can we do a little sports betting cross promotional thing and at like Caesar Sportbook and record a live pod from one of their rooms.
I'm in. I'm so in. Where would they play?
Probably right now at the Raiders stadium. I can't imagine anywhere.
There's enough room. You can build a downtown stadium there, man. AK Gaming, Las Vegas Stars.
I think the casino theme stuff is I mean it's a thing you can't miss. It's like how Seattle with the NHL team with the Kraken has been a perfect name.
Absolutely.
Given the fish market and the on the coast, it's a perfect name.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk about branding, rebranding, and all that good stuff as we move forward to our next matchup. The Union have a Saturday afternoon. We'll be playing at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I saw that. I can't believe that. I was like, I looked at my app and went, "Huh, that can't be right. That seems too early."
Yeah, so we'll have the rest of our days to ourselves. But so today, guys, help us preview this matchup against Club De Foot Montreal. We got ourselves from Montreal, Samuel Savy.
Yeah,
Sam, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. So Sam is part of the Ball Is Round Montreal podcast. Yes. A great podcast that they got going on up there, talking about soccer, football in Montreal. So Sam, first off, man, thank you so much for joining us here today on short notice, on day that Canada is playing as well. Nonetheless, we appreciate you taking the time. But Sam, before we start, just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do covering Club De Foot.
Yeah, I started. I was writing for a website maybe 2 years ago, Montreal Soccer, which is like the SB Nation blog for the Impact back in the day. So I met Paul Vance, who is part of the Ball Is Round now, and he had his own podcast. So we rebranded too when they decided to include me into it. So now that's how we are. The Ball Is Round, and our fourth member, Eve, you had her on your show, guys. Yes. And so that's the crew. So I started just writing out of the blue, really, and I wasn't into that podcast and blog stuff, but it just interested me at some point, and here I am, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, Eve was a fantastic guest the last time.
She is.
We were facing off against you guys. You guys shocked us last time a little bit. We did not expect that to happen in Subaru Park, but you guys came to play. And it was a great performance. Really, to me, we were talking before that we recorded tonight. A little shocked that you guys are at where you're at in the table. To be quite honest with you, before the season started, I thought Montreal would be a bottom half club, and you guys have been, you've been consistently in a playoff spot, and it's truly remarkable what has happened. And I think to me, like the big thing is, we talked about before with Eve, and the last time we talked to you guys, but you guys went from Thierry Henry to Wilfred Nancy now as your new manager, and things seem to be clicking with Nancy. Kind of like in your eyes, like what has made Nancy so effective with this Montreal club?
I think what makes Nancy such a good coach is he's been a coach most of his career. So Wilfred Nancy started like low level, like minor leagues in Quebec coaching. Actually like maybe 15 years ago, he coached against me when I was playing, in parks in Quebec, which is crazy, man. But he always stuck to coaching. So I think, through the years, with all the experience that he got, even though it's very low league, but he went up slowly up the ladder. I think you gain so much experience that maybe some big time names like Thierry Henry or other coaches that are very good players, and they just come into the game as coach with not a lot of experience as coaches. They don't have maybe that, that feel that a coach that's been doing that for 20 years has been doing. So that's maybe one factor. And the second one for me would be that he's been with the club for so long. He's been an assistant coach. I think he started being an assistant coach with Mauro Biello, so 2015-ish. And before he was in the academy. So he our left back, who you're going to see on Saturday, Mathieu Chouanière, was coached by Wilfried Nancy at the academy when he was 11 years old.
Oh my God! Say his name again one more time.
Mathieu Chouanière. So he's a local product from the South Shore of Montreal, and Wilfried Nancy's been coaching him like all his life, man. So
we were trying to pronounce his name. Obviously, we do mistake it sometimes, the French pronunciations, but we appreciate you for clarifying that.
Oh, good, man. Oh, good.
But no, it kind of sounds a little similar to what we have here in Philly. Now, look, Jim didn't grow up coaching in this area, but he played college soccer here in a local college here in Philadelphia. He did play in the MLS, but once he was done, he kind of came back and started coaching within this when the Union became an actual club in the MLS. And he is a Philly guy. He understands the city, understands how the city works. And that is truly an important aspect. Understanding how the fan base and the people who support the club, how they work, is truly important. And I think that's part of Nancy's success as well. So kudos to Wilfried Nancy, man.
Yeah, and for sure he picked up where Henri left, right? So Henri had put some bases mostly on the system, wing back system a lot, and building from the back with the goalie who has to play through his feet, and strong, ball to feet center backs, not just kicking the ball left and right, really taking the time to open up a play and look for a pass out of the back. So that's something that Henri installed. But when you compare 1 year into Nancy and we had 1 year of Henri, I honestly think that tactically Nancy is a bit more astute. The little adjustments you do through a game, and how we prepare. He always plays the same system. It's a bit boring for that. Always the same system, but there's always some little tweaks in that system that shows that he prepared this way, that way, or he adjusted when he had to. So I'm really impressed by Nancy. I didn't think that a guy that used to coach 10 years old, 12 years old in Quebec, little leagues would do that well in the pros, man.
Justin, sounds familiar, huh?
Yeah, I'd say, listen, the one thing that's crucial, how is Wilfred's shoe game? Because Jim is, as we refer to him, the drip king, the man shoes every game. He's got a new pair of Jordans. He's got, fresh kicks to go with a pretty nice outfit. So what's Wilfred's shoe game like?
Man, he's pretty classic. He goes with the nice black kicks. Rémi Garde used to bring some nice kicks on Henri too, but Wilfried is a bit more of a down to earth guy, so it's not much of a shoe game for him, man.
No matter how you do it, he just gets it done, man. He just gets it done. But continue on to the attack, because it's been truly interesting to see. Now you mentioned the whole the moving the ball from the back and bringing it up, right? But this kind of this forward group that you got going on right now with Romel Quioto, Mihailovic, and Joaquin Torres. Those guys seem to be clicking right now. Kind of talk about how those guys have, especially Quioto. To me, I think he's taken another step in his game, man.
Well, when Quioto was traded to Montreal, which he was traded for Victor Cabrera, who was an out of favor center back. So when we got Quioto, we weren't expecting much, and he did have some problems in Houston when he was over there. He was a bit underperforming, and he just took off. And the thing with Quioto is, I think he needs to be really emotionally involved in the game. If it's a game that he doesn't get when it starts.
We've seen he's emotional.
So he has to get kicked at the start of the game or something to just get involved, or because sometimes he'll just fade out a bit. But I think the key part of this trio is Mihailovic, because we've been struggling for so long to have a number 10. Even back in the days, Piatti was such a great player. Every time we put him as a 10, it wouldn't work. So we've been going after 10s for years. And now Mihailovic actually plays that role. He's not a pure 10. He's like between an 8 and a 10, but that's the closest that
I said the same exact thing. I said,
oh yeah,
Johnny asked me before. I said, well, with Chicago, he's an 8/10. Like, he'll give you those dynamic passes, but typically
exactly.
he's better at bringing the ball up and more of creating than actually any kind of chance creation for sure.
Definitely. But I mean, I'm sure that if Mihailovic isn't there, they don't have the same success. Mihailovic has been fantastic.
The assist king, from what I hear.
Yeah,
But I will say that the big thing that, and I was taking a look, how is Mason Toye being out? Probably at this point, I think, for the rest of the season. I know I saw it said a few months. How is? I mean, he was the second leading scorer on the team. How is that really impacted? Because I mean,
it definitely hurt.
No pun intended.
Yeah, it definitely hurt, because Mason Toye was finally the finisher that I think we needed, like cynical in front of goal. And the problem is, when he went down, Kyoto was a bit in a slump, so we had to stick to Kyoto not really performing. He had like a mid-season slump, because behind him we didn't have much quality to play up front, because we have Bjorn Janssen, who's a TAM player, if I'm not mistaken, and we're paying him some good money, but he just wasn't ever able to take off. MLS seems a bit too quick for him, and he's a 6'5", like 200-pound guy, but he doesn't use his body. He gets out jumped, out beaten physically by opposition center backs. And we have Sunusi Ibrahim, I think he's 18 years old, and he's from the Nigerian Premier League. It's his first year in North America, so he's doing well, for someone who just arrived, but he's not the type of number 9 that we can lean on in a big playoff run, for not yet though. So when Mason Toye went down, it was all on Kyoto, and we were all praying for Kyoto to get his scoring going, and thank God it did. But if Kyoto wasn't back to normal before he got injured, of course we'd be in some trouble.
And that's the weird thing that, with Kyoto as a central forward is, what has Wilfred done to really unlock him as a center forward? Because typically in Houston, he was a winger, and he's always excelled as a winger. Yeah. So what changed to make him more of a central player?
I think Kyoto, what helped him the most in that respect is that he's really good, his back to net, so he can lean into center backs and really use, because he's not a tall guy. He's like 5'10", 5'11", but he's such a, like, he's a tough guy. So he's always like playing a really physical game, and he's really strong with his back towards the opposition net. So he's able to hold up the play. And I think that, obviously Henry helped him a lot, and he said it, because when he arrived, Henry, took a lot of time with him and try to make him.
Who better to learn from than him, man?
Yeah, exactly, man. You can't contest anything he says, right? When he says you do that, you have to do it, right?
Especially that position.
Yeah, but I think the most important thing is that we gave him the opportunity to play like as high as possible on the field and use his physicality to be like an outlet pass, and he's always looked really happy to play that role. So if our defensemen are really under pressure from a good high press, he's always going to be available to take the ball down and play for the others while support comes. And I think he's thriving on that. Is like he's much more involved in the game that maybe when he used to play as a left winger, a bit isolated, maybe in a system that didn't get him the ball as often as he would want. So I think that's the biggest part, is that he's more involved in the games now as a center forward.
Okay, all right, very interesting to hear. Now, here's my thought right now, Justin. So, hearing what Sam has to say about how Montreal is built, right? Built from the you bring the ball from the back. We just talked about Kyoto with Torres and Mihailovic. So I'm thinking here, we play our game, and we know when we play union soccer, that physical style, that high press, I don't know if Gazak could bring that. I know you love Daniel Gazak, but what I want to know from you, what do you think the lineup is going to be this upcoming Saturday against Montreal?
Well, one, I'm going to assume that Andre's back. I mean, the international
right.
break is going to be over, so I can go back to writing Andre Blake's name in permanent marker because, I mean, when you have a 2-time goalie of the year, someone who still makes, insane saves that makes you go, thank God we have him on our team. Your back line is probably going to be pretty normal. Wagner will be back from his 1-game suspension. I'm going to assume it's going to be Elliott and Glesnes as your center backs. The right back situation will be interesting.
Yeah, Bizo.
I don't know about Bizo. I know he went home because of a death in his family. And I believe Alvis actually got hurt during one of the qualifiers for Jamaica. So, I mean, why not stick with Harriel? I mean, Harriel had a outstanding game. I mean, some of those crosses were just, I mean, the one to Paxton was just, you could not put a ball in any better for someone who is maybe my height to jump up and slam that one home. The midfield is where it's going to get interesting. I don't know with the South American qualifiers if Brujo will be back.
He said he might. It's not out the question. It might.
Yeah, the timing is going to be a little tight. So if I'm being safe, I'm probably going to say Leon probably back at the 6. I think the 4-4-2 gets put back in. I think you're probably going to have Quinn at the left shuttler, and I think Ali gets back at the right.
Okay.
And I think Paxton gets the start. I think he played too well to keep him out of the lineup. And I think when you have, I mean, this is going to be 3 games in a week. You got Saturday, then you have Wednesday at Minnesota, and you have the following Saturday at home against Nashville, which if you can at least get 4 points out of these 2 games before that game, that Nashville game will be huge. But I still think with the kids, I think you can easily play that. And then up top is where it gets tough because Corey's still out.
Sergio,
we don't know the extent of Sergio. And I said I did not want him starting against Cincinnati after going 85, 75, 75 in 3 straight games. And for a speedster with soft tissue injuries, you always run that risk. And it came true last game. So obviously Casper, for all the crap Zach gives, he scored another goal.
It's important. He
scored another goal. I mean, the stats don't lie. You do better when Casper Shabilko scores a goal. So he can be pretty important to the offense. As for the other striker, I don't know. Now, actually, you know what? I'm going to change it a little bit. I think McGlynn gets in as a shuttler, and I think Quinn plays up top. I think you saw that in Cincinnati, and I think Quinn's a great guy to run off of Casper because he's got speed. I mean, you saw him. It's at one point, what was it, the 85th minute, and Cincinnati was pressing for a second goal. He just, he took off, and 85th minute, and he's still, running with. Man, I wish I had that energy even at 17, 18 years old. I wish I could have run circles like that. But I think it's going to be another youthful lineup, and I have no problem with that, especially if if they're coming back from international duty, give them a rest because you got 2 games next week. So I think you don't want to push it. You're at the home stretch of the season. You're 2 points back of second. You finally bet yourself a little bit of a cushion above the playoff line to where you can look up and not have to look down. So I think this game is going to be a tough one, especially an early game, which I still can't believe it's a 1 o'clock game. I had to look twice at the FOTMob app to make sure it was correct. But I think this game is always tough because traveling up to Montreal it's been mixed results. Lately for the Union, it's been good, but in prior years, it was a tough place to play, and I think that still holds true. Every time I hear that bell get rung after a goal, it's like there were times when Piatti was running rampant on the Union, that bell just kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and it gets back some memories. But
yeah,
I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a pretty youthful lineup on Saturday.
So I'm trying to look it up, but I'm pretty sure from Joe Tanzi's tweets today, I think Jamiro is back, and he actually looked good from what Jim was saying. And I looked it up. Daniel Hungary's done their World Cup qualifiers. South America is always trickier, but keep an eye out for those two guys. Again, who knows, because of, like Justin said, the amount of matches that we will have to play the next week. So we'll definitely, it's going to be interesting. I think I agree with you. I think I would want to see the kids play out there. The thing is, guys, like it doesn't mean that you don't bring a Jamiro or a Daniel in the second half. Like this is why I get frustrated with Jim sometimes too, as much as I love him. You were able to start the kids and then bring the vets out on the second half. That is a possibility, but we'll see. But Sam, from your perspective, what do you think Montreal will? I'm sure, like you said, it'll probably be the same formation. But what do you think the lineup will be for them on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, so James Van Temes, he's the number one now that Clément Diop has left, so he's gonna be in goal for sure. He's with the national team right now, but he didn't play a game. Crépeau got all the games for Canada, so he'll be fresh coming back. I'm pretty sure at right wing back we'll have Zachary Bourguillard, who's with the Canadian team too, but didn't play a minute. We'll have Joel Waterman, Rudy Camacho, Kamal Miller at center back, and Mathieu Chouanière most likely at left back. In the middle, definitely Wanyama is going to be there. The question is always who's playing with Wanyama. Samuel Piet seems to be out of favor a bit, but he came back recently.
Good. I don't like when that man's on the field. He's a nuisance.
There's a segment on our show. We ask people, when we have guests, which player would you take in your team? And we had Piet so many times, but he barely plays for Montreal, But right now he's playing a bit because Ahmed Hamdi is injured. But I'm pretty sure if Hamdi is ready to go, Ahmed Hamdi is gonna get the start next to Wanyama. If he's not, because we didn't have an update on his status yet, it's gonna be Piet next to Wanyama. Of course, Mihailovic has the 10, and I think Sunusi Ibrahim, the Nigerian kid that I was talking about earlier, with Joaquin Torres up front. So that would be the lineup I expect. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Breaking news, guys, from AK Gaming: Alexandre Pato still plays for Orlando. So we got some breaking news.
He's been hurt. Nice. He played one game and has been hurt the whole year. Literally the whole year.
I don't know. All right, let's get to the prediction time. Sam, you are the guest. We'll allow you to go first. What do you think will happen Saturday afternoon? And give us a final score prediction.
I think Montreal will really play a strong game because we're going on the road, I think, for 3 games after. So this is really crucial time for us. So I'm sure we're going to play over our heads. So I'm not expecting us to win because Kyoto is injured, obviously, but I think we could manage a 1-1 draw. And honestly, I'd be really happy for the standings if it does happen. So yeah, 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about a little before we went on the air there, but the Eastern Conference, I mean, all season long, it's been really tight. But for you guys, I mean, there's a pretty much a 3-way tie for 5th in the East. Then you have Atlanta with a point behind you guys, and then the Red Bull are 3 points behind you guys. So it's pretty tight, and every point counts going forward. So I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight till the end, and I'm sure in the MLS offices they're really happy that's happened because it's great for the viewership and people in the stands, man. That's awesome. But for us fans, man,
we're suffering over here. We're definitely suffering over here. I will say there's not much parity in the Western Conference, though. It's interesting. Usually it's the other way around, but hey, we'll certainly take that. Justin, what do you see happening on Saturday afternoon?
It's after a result in Cincinnati that I know I predicted a win, but I also could have seen a draw because I was just that felt like a trap game more than anything. I kind of have a similar vibe. I think this game will be a draw, and I'd be fine also with a 1-1. Like I said, I think 4 points out of the next 2 before Nashville will be big. I think you can get a win in Minnesota. So for me, I think getting the draw in Montreal. Anytime you go, unfortunately, I wish Corey was playing because Corey seems to love playing against Montreal.
Yeah.
But with his injury, unfortunately, he won't be available. I think the kids. Once again, the youth in the lineup is going to create a lot of havoc, and I think as the season's gone on, especially with CCL, the team has rebounded from a pretty good run in CCL. I mean, going to the semis against Club America was always going to be a daunting task, and they've rebounded pretty well since. And I think just Jim's got it. There's a reason he was coach of the year last year. He's finally got the system he wants. He's got the players he wants, and it just, honestly, a point in Montreal is not a bad thing. So I'm feeling a 1-1 draw.
Absolutely. Speaking coach of the years, Wolf Nancy better be in that discussion too, man.
I think he's gonna be in there if we make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a tough part, man. You definitely got to make the playoffs for that. Yeah. But Sam, listen, that does it, man. Thank you so much for hopping on in, Sam. Before we let you go, though, let the people know where they can find you, and of course, where they can find the Ball Is Round Montreal.
Yeah, I don't tweet much, honestly. So if they want to find me, they're just gonna follow someone who doesn't tweet. So I'm at Samuel Savy. But if you guys want to follow what's up in Montreal, at TBIR Montreal, we're very much active on that, and we podcast once a week, mostly on the Sundays, and we go into what's up with Montreal and the national teams, women and men. So if you want to follow us, we would be really appreciative. So
hell yeah. So we'll definitely put that down in the descriptions. We'll tweet that out as well, but definitely give those guys a check out because they're doing great stuff over there in Montreal.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
No, Sam, thank you so much. Guys, that's going to do it for yet again another episode of Duke by the River. We'll be back at it because, guys, we got 2 next week. So stay tuned for that. Guys, if you're watching this live on Philly Sports Network or on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. And, of course, you can find this podcast along with all of your favorite Philly Sports Network podcasts on PSN Radio, and you can find that wherever you stream podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Samuel Savy. That is Justin Pax-10, Jump Squad President Freiburg. Of course, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys to dupe on. We'll talk to you guys next week.